All right, guys, we're back. We're back in the studio. As always, joined by Jeff.
Hey, guys.
I guess not as always. We've been switching it up lately.
It's great. Our team is growing. We
Yes.
are getting a lot more in and out of people, and I'm loving it.
But I specifically requested you for this video
You
because
did.
you've been with me for all of these videos, and it just keeps getting better. We're going back to machine. I don't even know if you can call it machine because
Yeah.
it's like, does it become a Chaosdramon deck at this point? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to get into this right now. I know that it's been a hot deck that people, I mean, just based on prices of the alt arts
Yeah.
that have just retained value.
Besides being one of the best alt arts of EX-03, right?
People are curious about this deck. And of course, I have been a fanboy. This is like the deck that I play.
I mean, this is our third video on the channel,
Yes.
right? So this is a trilogy, just like Fast and the Furious. As long as Vin Diesel is alive and they keep giving us new Machinedramon pieces, we're going to keep updating this deck.
And it just keeps getting better. I mean, BT10 was kind of a dry spell because we really only got a piece out
Yeah.
of the starter decks for
Yeah.
it. But this has been the set that I've been waiting for. We're going to get into that. Let's just start with the eggs. And so this is where the big deviation happens, right? You're going to keep saying, well, you just keep changing 1 or 2 cards per set, right?
No, this is a huge change.
Huge
you made.
change.
You came to me with this, and I was like, why are you doing that? Like,
Yes.
but after seeing this in action, wow.
So gone are the days of the VMon and the Demi V. Rest in peace. I had to put them down. We're going to start with Pagumon, the only good egg in black, essentially.
That's a sidebar, but black has the worst eggs.
It really does. But this actually fits well
This
in
is
the
a great
deck
egg.
because it
This
accelerates
is-
draw. Not as fast as the VMon, Demi VMon, so we are going to take a small hit there. But with spoilers, the new Chaosdramon being red and black, this actually can search out all of our level 6s now,
Yeah.
which is a reason that I didn't go full black before with this deck, because you would just whiff and you would hit half of your
Absolutely.
7s and you would just miss them. So we're going Pagus. Very rare in this deck that you actually use more than 4 of your eggs. I think I've drawn all 4 eggs one time in
Yeah.
my testing. So we're going to talk about level 3s. And we're going to go 4 of Hagurumon. I don't think that there's a way you
Love
don't
it.
go 4 of this.
No.
To the point where it irritates me that Bandai hasn't given us an alt art of
Come
this.
on.
They give us an alt art of literally every machine piece, but the one that you play a 4 of in every single version of this deck. In every Japanese meta version of this deck I've seen, it plays 4. It's just on play, trash
It's
1, draw
so good.
2,
It's
leaves
so
a body
good.
on board. So good. And now that I'm playing the black egg, there has been times where I don't need to draw 2. And I
Yeah.
can just digivolve for 1 and just have that in raising, ready to swing for game or,
Yeah.
or put some more pressure on my opponent.
Yeah, like as you transition towards that late game, it doesn't become a dead card in hand when
Yes.
you've already drawn enough, where now it's that extra little guy in raising area that your opponent now has to account for.
Yeah, I don't want to spend 3 to use it. You know,
Yeah.
it's nice. So we play 3 more level 3s. And these I went back and forth between this and the Chikurimon. And I think that based on the meta you're playing in, you can go back and forth. So I think that right now in the meta, the Chumon is
Bringing the Rat
play.
Pack.
Bringing the Rat Pack. I think that that is the play right now based on my testing and just kind of the way it is. And a lot of people argue, you know, because now
Yeah.
that Cross is a little more restricted, you
Yep.
don't see it as much. But even in Blue Flare, I feel like when they play that 5-cost Blazing Memory boost,
Yeah.
this almost puts as much pressure on them as the Chikurimon because they don't get to use those Blazing Memory boosts.
Yep.
But it also does a lot of good things in other decks for the matchup. So I just run a 3 of. It's really tough in Machinedramon for room, honestly.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to give and take where you are. And you're going to see a lot of 3 ofs in this deck because there are a lot of times where I want to run a 4 of, but I feel like 2 is too little. And 3, I feel like you see it just enough.
Yeah, I really like your call with your 7 level 3s. It makes a lot of sense for the deck.
Right now, I run 2 level 4s, and those are Mechanorimons.
Such a great card.
So there's a lot of debate right now between playing Mechanoris and playing the 2-cost Gardramon.
Yep.
That has that really good inheritable that's essentially the same thing as playing the Hagurumon.
Yep.
I like the Mechanorimon more, just because it is a 4-cost hard drop instead of a 5.
Yeah.
And a lot of the strategy of this deck has changed, which we'll get into later as far as digivolving. It does have a 3-cost digivolve, but I'm always at 3 typically with
Yep.
the Tamers that I use. But just there are so many times where you drop this turn 1 and it changes the way your opponent plays the game.
Yeah, they can no longer get the early aggression. They can no longer just go insanely wide with Deep Brigade or whatever they're deciding to do. So it makes a lot of sense.
It's a great point. So played some D Brigade tonight, and against, we've done D Brigade testing, we've done Bloom Lord testing, we've done a lot of testing, and this card keeps coming up almost to the point where I want to try and find room for a 3 of. It's a great number in this deck, 3 3s. But very, very good card. I think that it's making a comeback in this format just because it is just, especially against like those decks like D Brigade and Bloom Lord that are just trying to come in and take over the meta. Yeah. It really makes them like, I don't know what to do. Like tonight I played and someone dropped a Death X for 14 just to get rid of my
Yeah.
Good card. Best blocker in the game. So now we're going to get into level 5s. So this is always the point of tension and the point of discussion between Machinedramon players is how many do you play? Yeah. And most importantly, how many do you play more than one of, right? Because the Machinedramon and the Chaosdramon require independent sources, right? So you don't want to play like 4 of your favorite one because you're not going to be able to use them all at the same time. So the most important ones are the 2 ofs. And I think that the most important part of Machinedramon still, as a black card, as a big stack that you're going to have to commit a bunch of memory to make, 7 at the least, is blocker. So I play 2 of Andromon and then 2 of the Megadramon. Yeah. I think that those are pretty close to requirements. I've seen some decks that only play 1 and 1, and I just don't know how they win. Yeah. Because it's really hard when your Machinedramon's not a blocker. That's the whole point, right? Like,
yeah, you have this big, ginormous blocker with tons of great effects.
With deletion prevention. Yep. And I think that is the key point. And I love the Megadramon because we'll get into the 7s and stuff later, but it's a generic blocker. It does not have to be a machine. Very, very good. So we're moving out of the blockers, and then we're going into the Metal Greymon. Now this is crazy aggression. Once again, just like the Mechanorimon, once you have your Machinedramon out with this, it's just like playing Black or Gray, where your opponent has to really think about, what am I putting on the field?
Yeah, and they're just going to delete it.
Yeah, especially when you're playing. So I ran into this against the 7 Great Dragons. Yeah. Very, very good because they're hard playing stuff. Swing at it, kill it. Very, very good. So any kind of the new zoo decks that you kind of see, especially the dragons.
The Dragon Links? Or 4 Great Dragons, yeah.
4 Great Dragons, sorry. Very good card. Very, very good card. Now, this is a new one that I went to 2 of in this deck. I was running a 1 of before, but Reboot is just so good in this deck. It is too important not to run a 2 of. And I went to 2 of this because I was able to take out, because of the restrictions. Yep. I was able to go down to 1 of the Megadramon.
Makes a lot of sense.
The one that kills Tamers.
You no longer need to delete Tamers as, especially 3-cost Tamers, right? People are going back to those 4-cost memory setters and
the Davises and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was able to take 1 of those out, and this was the next important one on my list. I think I even mentioned it in the last video. It's too good. And you need it, especially when you're blitzing with the option. Yep. It's nice to be able to restand at the end of that and just go. This one, I keep trying to take this out, or at least try and take 1 of them out, but it is too good, especially in this format.
This is still my favorite level 5 because I never thought of this one, And when you showed this to me, I was like, are you serious? That's so cool.
Well, when we get into the level 6s, I'll explain even more why this is more important. But with all the Tamers that we use, it's a 5-cost level 5 with a crazy good inheritable.
It is, absolutely.
And it just wins games and it helps you out so much. So being able to drop this for 5 and then Digivolve on top of it with the new Chaosdramon, tuck 3 more sources. Oh, it's so good. So those are all my 2 ofs. We have double blocker, we have swing at anything, we have reboot, and then we have the play for 5, delete one of your opponent's Digimon, gain a memory. So very, very important level 5s. Let's get into the 1 ofs. So if we're swinging at anything, right, we need to be bigger. Yep. So Chaosdramon, 12K, Machinedramon, 11K. You got to boost them up, right?
Yep.
So Megadramon, it's a good 6-cost. So it's a decent hard play. If you have 3, they have a memory tamer. You have the Chaosdramon in hand. Very good. Give them 3. Make them deal with this before you can Digivolve it and turn it into a 7, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gives plus 2K. Better than 2K, 3K.
3K.
Right? So A little more intimidating to play. You don't want to hard play it typically, but it's a
No.
good tuck card. It gives you 3k. It makes the Chaosdramon 15, so it makes it kind of on par with certain things. You can crash it into a Death X, crash 2 sources, survive.
While the Death X is gone.
Yes, it's worth it. So those are the only 2 cards that gain DP for Machine. So I know this is one of your favorites. This is on the border of coming out, I think, when we get the Master Tyrannomon.
I'm going to be sad
or
to
the
see
Metal
it go,
Tyrannomon.
but I think I agree.
know. But I think we have to do it. We still play it. The Rise Greymon. I always have a Tamer in play, so you're able to minus
Get them,
2,000 DP from what you need to. So while this is still here for this format, I still use it. It's also good against getting rid of like if you're playing black, killing Chumons or all those 2Ks.
Anything that's stopping you from doing what you need to do. So
you can use this either to make your body bigger, quote unquote, or you can use it to just delete a small boy. So if we're talking about on deletions, we still play one of the Megadramons. So we're gonna swing, kill a level 3 Tamer or a level 3 not level 3. I'm sorry, 3 cost Tamer or 3 cost Digimon.
Yep.
Still comes up all the time. Very, very good, especially when you're swinging with the option to blitz.
Absolutely.
Clears boards, kills Tamers. When digivolving too, so you have your Machinedramons or your Mechanorimons. So when you digivolve on top of those, still get to use that effect. Very,
That's
very good.
important. Yep.
And then moving forward, we have the Metal Mame. That's a great when digivolving. Reveal top 3 cards.
So now you have 5 level 5s with that same when digivolving effect too, which is really nice.
Search. Yeah, very, very good. Not only does it search, it places the rest of the cards in your trash where you want them to be. So even if you even if you grab the level 6, you still get to put the pieces back in your trash to build that level 6. But once again, delete a level play cost 5 or less Digimon. Came up 100 million times tonight. Very, very good. Deletes their Mechanorimon, deletes a lot of the things that they're doing, especially like a lot of like the level 4s and some of the level 5s in yellow are only 5 cost.
Yeah, being able, when they play them to search things.
Yes.
Right, and you just delete them.
Very, very good. This is one of my favorite cards. I've tried to take this out 100 times or at least switch it out for another Volcanomon, but it is too good. The on play is so useful, especially against Bloomlord with those 3K level 4s.
You did that to me so many times today.
Yeah. So on play, just the on play just by itself. Delete up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon 3K or less. So very, very good. A lot of times they'll start turn 1 or turn 2, put down a couple small bodies, think that they're going wide on you, and you're just like, boom, I'll give you 4, but wipe your board.
Yeah.
And you have a piece to build on.
Yep.
That will, when you build on it, it will have security attack +1. So very, very, very good card. Still have the Volcanomon in here. I'm obviously, spoilers, no blue eggs, so I did take out Kaiser Nail and Tidal Wave, so we're not using that method anymore. The Volcanomon is still here. Security attack +1 is a static effect. It is very good. It does not rely on the
machine.
Digimon being a machine. So when we get into 7s, if we go into the 7, it still retains that security attack +1. And I tend to put this on top of my stack because if they do digivolve me by 1, which happens a lot, especially with the Dragon Links and other things, he is still a base blocker.
Yeah.
By himself. So if you are going to use this when you do build your stacks under your Machinedramon or your Chaosdramon, put them at the top.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
And those are my level 5s. So I play 17 level 5s.
I love it.
They're so good. It's consistent. I see a lot of decks play between 14 and 16. I think are the happy numbers for a lot of people, but I like having that 1 extra just to keep it halfway consistent. Very rarely do I pull a whole hand of level 5s and have to deal with it. But if I do,
you have ways around.
You have
it.
outs because you have the 6 cost or you have the 5 cost with the Tamer and that kind of stuff. So very consistent. So let's get into the level 6s. No surprise here. It's the boy. Run 4 of the Machinedramons.
I guess not our first 4 of.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's first 4 of after the Gurumon, right?
Yeah.
So they play off each other. Very, very good.
Very good card.
So Machinedramon, there's really not that much to talk about here. I mean, it's not the only win condition for the deck anymore. That's the best part about this deck, and that's the best part about this format, in my opinion, for Machinedramon, is that finally got a worthy companion. The old
Yeah.
Chaosdramon was just kind of like an afterthought. It was kind of just like you pretty much have to go on the Machinedramon if you want it to be useful. But when you did use that Chaosdramon, it made him vulnerable, right?
It
because
did.
you could delete him. And I mean you because you did all the time.
All the time.
You waited for me
I
to
would
go to
wait for you to
Chaosdramon.
go into
Yeah.
Chaosdramon to get rid of it. Yep.
Exactly, 100%. So now we're just gonna skip over Machinedramon because it is what it is. Everyone knows what that card does. So we're gonna go into the new boy. Play 3 of the new Chaosdramon.
Love it.
We're going to set the stack down because this is the one you need to talk about. Because this is the one that changes the way this entire deck plays and makes it, I want to say, 50% more consistent than it ever has been.
Yeah.
Because so many times before, and it's why I play so many searchers, and I'm kind of going down on the searchers, where if you don't pull a Machinedramon, you lose.
That's how it was. Yeah.
And it's frustrating because you would hit 2 and you would have 2 insecurity and you would just automatically lose that game.
Yep.
Gone are those days.
Yeah.
Because now you have this Chaosdramon. The old Chaosdramon, if you had to hard play a level 5, which happens sometimes, just to pass turn and you don't want to, I mean, if you're at 3
Yep.
and they're going to go to 3 anyways, like why not play a 7 cost?
Yeah.
Put the body down.
One
you know.
extra memory,
Yeah.
whatever, right? To get started.
And if you had the Chaosdramon in hand, best case scenario is you were going to Digivolve for 4 on top of that. Tuck 1 body, have no protection, and kill 2 6Ks or less if they had them.
Yep.
Right? That was the old best case scenario if you didn't do Machinedramon. Now, you get to change the way this deck plays completely. So now you can Digivolve for 3 with a level 5 or hard play level 5, and then on the next turn, you can Digivolve with Chaosdramon for 4.
Yeah.
Tuck 3 bodies, which gives him 4 sources. De-Digivolve your opponent's Digimon by 3, which is already great in this format because of all the
Absolutely.
big stacks, right? And he has the deletion protection. So you tuck 3 bodies.
Yeah.
You can protect him at least 2 times.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And also, he has protection against the one card that has been the bane of every Machinedramon player's existence, and that's Megadeth.
Yes.
And
Finally.
Grand El Sol. And a million other cards that return your boys to the deck. Very, 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 very good card. It's made me change my ratios. It's made me change the color of this deck because he is also black. So he is also searchable by Pogumon. He's searchable by Black Memory Boost. He is searchable by, I mean, all of these cards that search for level 6 machines. Like, he is easy to find.
Yep.
So now you have 7 targets instead of 4 and 3 hand-me-downs. I don't play anymore. I don't play any of the other old Chaosdramons. I don't think that they're
I don't
worth
think there's
it.
a reason to. Yeah.
No reason for it. He's retired. He's done. Put him out to pasture. So now we're going to talk about level 7s, and this is kind of where it gets a little spicy after these 2.
Yeah.
So I still run. And
So those aren't your spicy ones?
these are not the spicy ones. These are the ones that you have to play to win in this format. So the best part is now, so it makes this deck even more consistent. With all the level 6s being black,
Yep.
you can Digivolve the Death X on any of your level 6s, which is fantastic. So if people are playing the Chikuri Mons or the Solar Mons or
Yep.
the Psych Mons, you can still do that. And like I said, with the generic inheritables, you still get the Security Attack +1 if you have the Volcanomon. You still have the blocker if you play the Megadramon. New set that's coming out.
Yep.
Going to get Reboot. Very, 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 very good card. Obviously, it's like the best level 7 in the game right now because it's not a dead card in your hand.
Oh, it's like an option. It's like a dual purpose card where, it's a Digimon and an option at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not one of those ones where you feel bad if they have
No.
3 bodies on the board. You got to play it for 11 and wipe their board. They have nothing in raising. They have to start over, and they have to deal with not putting anything on their board because it's going to die.
Absolutely.
It's going to die. So I run 2 of that. I toyed with 3. I didn't like 3 that much. I feel like it's too much. So this is the spicy card.
This is, let's show.
We talked
show
about
me
this and how good this is with the strategy I just talked about with this Chaosdramon, because this card we talked about, or not on camera, but we used to talk about this card in Machine, but it didn't make any sense because you don't Digivolve the Machinedramon.
Yeah.
You play the Machinedramon. But now, Omnimon Zwart, I'm playing a 1 of because it does everything that Machinedramon wants you to do right now. So you Digivolve, it is 6, so it is spendy, but with the memory setter that I play, you're pretty much always at 3, if not more, with the black boosts that I'm going to show you. So you Digivolve, crash top 3 cards of your deck.
Perfect for your deck.
Exactly what this deck wants to do, right? Then you play 2 level 5 or less black Digimon. Most of these are black.
Yeah.
or half.
You know, and by the time you get that Zord down, you have your targets, right?
Yes.
And you have the versatility because it doesn't have to be a level 5.
Right. And the best part about that too is like there's been times where you can swing your Machinedramon at like a suspended Death X or something.
Yeah.
Purposefully trash 2 sources and then do this and be able to play those out.
Yep.
Very cool strat. And it activates on play. So if you have on plays that you want to use,
Yeah.
very, very cool. You can also play out Mechanorimons, or if you need to play out the Chumons that they killed on prior turns, or the Hagurumons. You get the on play of the Hagurumon if you need to draw more. Very, very good card because you can play out these level 5s, and then you can Digivolve on them on the next turn with these Chaosdramons, tuck 3 more, and turn it into a big boy. You know, it lets you go wide, it lets you trash things, and then if you want to swing with the Zwart, you can. You're going to return that either Chaosdramon, and you can do it twice, right? If you went
do it twice.
If you went Machine and you went Chaosdramon, and then you went Zwart, you'd swing, return the Chaosdramon or the Machinedramon,
Killer.
put it on one of the cards the level 5s you just played, and then do it again on the next turn. And every time you do that, you get to kill one of your opponent's Digimon. So very, very cool card. I'm experimenting with the one of. I think that it's a very, very good card. If it's really good, maybe you go 2-0, but I think it is really good tech for this style of Machinedramon because this is such a different style than before. I know if you played Machinedramon in the past, you're like, that's not going to work. But just play this Chaosdramon and you're going to realize how different this deck is.
How much it changes.
Changes the entire way this deck plays. Let's get into Tamers now. I still think that this is a 4 of, just based on everything that I know about this deck. This is the best way to memory choke your opponent, search your deck, add cards to your trash. I've always toyed with taking at least 1 out, and every time I do, I regret it. It's the best 2 cost. I mean, a lot of times, like your opponent will set you to 3.
Yeah.
And you can choke them at 1, play 2 of these, and you just went through 6 cards in your deck.
Yeah.
You know,
just
you
like
added
that.
all the parts you needed. Very, very good, especially if you're running the Zwart, Chaosdramon. The one thing about this Chaosdramon I'll say, which you couldn't do with the old Chaosdramon anyways, the on-play is really rough. I don't recommend the on-play. Playing it for 12 to de-digivolve one of your opponent by 3, and then you only get to tuck 3 sources, protect it once. I don't recommend doing that. That's kind of like a last case scenario. You're probably going to lose at that point. So the on-play on that, just use it for when digivolving. Don't do the on-play. Very, very rough. Unless you're going to do Attack of the Heavy Mobile to win the game, which we'll talk about in a minute. So, memory setters. So I'm not playing the Tidal Waves or the Kaiser Nails, but this is still the best Tamer in the deck, in my opinion. And by still, I mean, I'm using it finally.
Yeah.
I was using the Black Izzies.
You were hesitant for a while. You bounced around. We got, different versions
Black
of the deck,
Izzies was good at the time because it was able to search and you were doing a lot of searches with other things. But being able to swing and just draw a bunch of cards, it's just too good.
I mean, you talk about this. I know we've talked about this off camera, where sometimes you just empty out your hand.
Yep.
And that helps replenish that hand.
Right. And so people are going to be like, what? These are all my Tamers, by the way. So people are going to ask, why don't you use Kazu? I don't like Kazu. Because 1, Kazu does not set you to 3. It only gains you memory if your board is not totally clear, which happens sometimes. And there are so many times where you play the Machinedramon, and especially the Chaosdramon, and it empties your hand.
Yeah.
Right? So you're down to 1 or 2 cards in your hand. So you swing with one of your bodies. Yes, you can swing with the little guy, but you still have to trash as well. So it doesn't increase your hand size at all. And there's a lot of times where you draw a card and you're like, I really need both of these.
I don't want to trash.
I don't want to trash a card. And there's been times where I've had no cards in hand.
Yeah.
And I literally draw a card and I have to trash it.
Yeah.
Terrible. I don't want to say terrible. It's just, I think it's more meant for, I think it's better in a D-Brigade deck than it is in a Machinedramon deck.
Yeah.
So moving forward, I took this down from a 3 to a 2 just based on putting the Zwart in. Because I was getting a lot of these in my hand, but I think Black Memory Boost is very, very good in this deck. So I run a 2 of Black Memory Boost just because you can search almost everything here except for some of the red level 5s and obviously the Zwart. But there are so many times that I play this and I'm able to pull the Death X and just win the game.
Yeah.
So good. Being able to grab that, and you can grab any of your level 6s.
Yeah, which is killer.
Very, very good. Artwork is a topic of hot debate because there is a Hagurumon on the other artwork.
And it's textured better on that.
I know it's textured better, but I love this artwork just because I miss Diaboromon and you got the Sunamon. That's good stuff. So now we get into a little bit of the spice, and I think that this is kind of the flex spot for the deck, depending on how you want to play it. So you can choose this method, which is a little bit less on the digivolving method, and play some options that I'm about to show you, or you can substitute some of these options and go a little bit more digivolvy. And if you want to add more level 4s like Chaosdramons and try and be more consistent that way, I think that that is still a very valid way to play the deck. But I think right now in the format with the big bodies that swing and how boards go wide,
Yeah.
I'm a lot happier playing these 4 options. So the first 2, IFO. I love Iron Fisted Onslaught.
So good.
There's so many times where people play Death X, give you 8, 9, 10. It's so nice to just have this in your hand, go to 1, kill it, and then play the game again.
Yeah.
You know, because they're going to de-digivolve your Machinedramon, but it still leaves you with a level 5 with a ton of inheritables. And with the Chaosdramon, it's really easy to just jump back on top of that, tuck more underneath it, and be like, okay, cool, I'm stronger now. And I killed your boy.
Makes perfect sense to me.
So if I wasn't going to play the Iron Fisted Onslaught for the Death X matchup, I would run 4 of these Ultimate Flares. Because, once again, very good against big stacks and wide boards. So you're seeing a lot of D-Brigade, you're seeing a lot of Bloom Hydra, you're seeing a lot of, I mean, not a lot of, but Jessamon did take top 8 in the last Ultimate Cup. Like you are seeing that kind of stuff. An Ultimate Flare is great because it doesn't care about DP boost on like Jessamon stuff.
Yeah, that's very important.
So it's still a very, 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 very good card. And because we're not seeing those big X antibody stacks, I think that that's kind of what got rid of this card.
Yeah, I agree.
Was when you were playing, when you ran against, like Black Alphamon.
They just have a giant stack anyways.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to take 3 off of that. They're like, cool, that's 3 out of 12. Like,
and I'll just
giant
go
stack.
right back up.
Yeah, exactly. So, very, very good card now because it clears wide boards. People still aren't really expecting it.
They never do.
Especially newer players because it is a BT5 card with Diaboromon on it. So people don't even know what that card does. But still, very good card. So those are my kill spell options. Like I said, if you do want to sub these out, you could run more level 4s. You could run 2 more Mechanories. You could run 2 Chaosdramons. You could run a 4th Chumon if you want, or you can go Chikurimons. Whatever you want to do. But these are kind of the flex spot, I think, for the deck. But I like this because it allows you to be a little bit more sure of your security. I mean, because you have 3 15s, you have 3 12s, 4 11s. A lot of good stuff. And then the last card in the deck, still a 1 of. And I think I'm just going to close out the video with this. Attack of the Heavy Mobile Digimon.
Great card.
Still a great card. At first, when they debuted it, I was like, that's going to be good removal and security. I don't really use it that much for removal and security because a lot of times you're holding on to your one of the level 6 that you want to play.
Yeah, and you don't.
And that's really the only thing that you're going to trash out of your hand to kill something that's like menacing on the board.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to trash your Machinedramon or your Chaosdramon if you want to use it. So, but very, very good. It's a Blitz Omni. It's a hybrid. It's whatever you want to do for game. It's very, very good. Or if you need to blitz and Metal Greymon and swing into a giant body that you can kill on that turn, and gain the memory reboot. Like if you have the right pieces, you can do some menacing stuff with this card. But I run a 1 of because there's so much draw in this deck. You're probably going to see it. And if you trash it, it's not the end of the world because it's not like your win con. Your win con is building your big bodies and clearing their board with Death X. And just going from there. So this is my Machinedramon answer for EX-03.
I love it.
We're going to update this for BT11. We get that Master Tyrannomon. We get the new Gigadramon. We're going to do all the fun things with the level 5s. And then we talk about BT12 when we get that Chaosdramon X antibody. We could talk for an hour on that, so we're not going to go into that yet. But this is it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe. We really appreciate it when you do. Get going.